more than music.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us today. I am Michelle Mendoza. Glad to have you along for the ride today. I think what we've been getting at in our podcast, looking for the deeper story, or often what we call the God story. If there's a God, what's he doing in all this? What does
more
he
than
expect
music
of you and I? So as we delve into that idea, we're doing it with an emphasis on music. Welcome to our More Than Music segment. So welcome to America, where yes, there are factions of division and depression and delusion. But as we look in the media, oftentimes we'll see things that contribute to that mindset in America, but not from the heart of America. People, there's still a heartbeat here. We all have this thing in us where we embrace our freedom. We love our families. There's a real America out there, and it's beyond the headlines. But here's the secret. It comes in the music of the people. And that music from the heart is still beating. We don't always hear it on the radio all the time, but once in a while, we'll find some artists who still speak that language. I want to introduce you to music legend CORY MORROW. For over 2 decades, he has been speaking that heart. He's as good at singing about booze as he is the Bible. And that really is about what America is. If you go to the real places in America, this is who we are. CORY MORROW. Hey, it's CORY freaking MORROW.
Hi, you must have been on some of my shows.
Oh, yeah, I have. In fact, I'm going to share screen with you. This is a picture of CORY. And do you see that there, CORY?
It's starting to share.
All right. So
there it is.
My birthday near Houston, Texas. That's my birthday. I was front and center at your show there and had a great time.
Awesome. That's awesome. We're so special.
Yeah. You know what was really amazing? The energy. As you're watching or listening to the podcast today, the energy. It's almost as though you could feel that you and the CORY MORROW band, you know, you've been just waiting for 2020 to end so you could just get back and connect with the people again.
Definitely. You know, we sat at home for a long time and trying to figure out how to get things, keep things moving and pay the bills and keep food on the table. And I know, you know, we're not the only one with that story, but we definitely were just waiting for the doors to open, waiting for people to not be afraid to get out, to come to share with us what's going on in their lives, to come to a place where we can gather and we can, you know, we can sing and dance and celebrate life and get past and through this thing that seemed to get in our way and slow us down for a while. So we were definitely, the energy at our shows is something I tell people they can look. When they ask me, you know, what can we expect at your show? I just tell them I expect everybody to be involved, and if they don't want to be involved and they don't know the words of the song, I tell them to make up their own words. Just try to get people involved. I say, you're getting up off your tail, up off your couch, and you're walking out the front door, and you're getting in your car and you're driving somewhere to see a show and listen to some music. And I don't know, it seems like if you're there, you may as well kind of get involved as well. So yeah, I like for people I like to try to give them energy, and then I like to have that energy reciprocated.
Yeah, you feel that, and it's a connection that we've lost, and some of that connection is what's contributed to some of the negative effects of 2020. So getting that reconnection, there were a lot of artists who would do things like on YouTube.
The online things were good for what they were, and for the time that we had, that's all we could get. It was honestly, it was nice. I did a thing on Mondays where I did a live Facebook Live concert from my living room, from right here. This was my background. My kids were in here, and they would play on the instruments, and I'd talk with them, and I'd write songs and play songs for everybody, and do that for an hour to 2 hours, sometimes longer, every Monday during the pandemic. And it became a really fun thing for a lot of our fans, and a place to go, right, and to kind of connect with somebody. And even though it was online, I still talked with people, and but that was definitely a band-aid. We needed the real thing, and
Yeah.
the real thing is being face to face. You can't get that energy level. You can't get that connection on a screen. I could see you, but and I could probably read your face right now and tell you that what's going on, maybe possibly in your behind your eyes, but when you're with somebody and you're watching them and the way that they're walking, the way they're holding themselves, their posture and their countenance, and there's just so much that in the room, being in the same room, we're supposed to live that way. We're supposed to live in community. We're supposed to be together. We're supposed to be lifting each other up and helping each other and encouraging one another and keeping each other honest. And you can't do that as well via telephone.
Yeah, but your Morrow Mondays were kind of an ability to reach out and connect in ways that people were craving. So, I mean, good for you. And that it goes back to this series that we're talking about, the voice of America, the voice of the heart of America. You just have a crazy, awesome gift of being able to put that heart, the feelings, what we're going through, our daily lives into poetry through song, and then it becomes our voice. We miss that a bit. We're I'm in my opinion, some ways we can be over synthesized, we can be over marketed, and we miss out on that real message, if that makes sense. How do you feel about where music is right now and where the heart of America is through music?
Well, I think music's always been a way for us to express what we're going through. I think it's a way to escape, and I think it's a way to celebrate. And so I think it's a necessary language that we all understand, that everybody uses and needs. And so I think it's an absolutely great way for us to express what's going on in our hearts. And I think the country's divided and broken, and I think that there's a bunch of lies being infiltrated into us. And I think that if everybody stopped watching the news, I don't think that everybody would think that there was such a big problem. I think you walk outside your door and go see your neighbor. How are you feeling about life? I feel pretty good. The grass is green and the sun is shining and you're here in my front lawn and we're talking. Okay, good. You don't feel like I'm coming down on you. You don't feel like there's this or that. No. I think that if we just didn't have anybody feeding us sort of a negative narrative, then we probably wouldn't be thinking that there is such a negative narrative. But there's a lot of people hurting right now, and a lot of people struggling, and I think that the music is definitely a way for us to talk about that, to share that with other people. Maybe there's some stories that need to be heard. And then there's also just the constant love that I feel like God's got for us that needs to be shared with people, whether they're having success or whether they're going through a hard time. So I think the ability to share the love of God, whether people are even aware of it, that's what they're doing or not, sometimes in their music. I know that I was unaware of doing it for years and years. I was weaving God's word into my songs and weaving a thread of hope and a search for something more. And I think people need to hear that. I mean, God's voice is loud, and it heals, and it fills you with joy and hope. And I think that it's something that every single person on this planet needs to hear, and they long for it deep down inside. They long for it because we're all children of God, and we can fight it all we want, but it's inside of us. And once we allow Him to come in and penetrate our hearts, there's just. I got a phone call there. Did it break or
no? We're still here. We're still here.
Once God gets in there and penetrates and breaks that heart, breaks that shell that we put up, then amazing and beautiful thing that happens. So music is definitely a huge and beautiful key and catalyst to and a vessel to carry just an amazing amount of love and healing.
Love and healing. We need that. And so I'm gonna make a statement and then ask my question, but I'm gonna do it without getting a little emotional because you have a beautiful way, and I want to thank you for this, of living out your faith the way I think we're meant to. And that's in wherever we're at. You don't just go to church on Sunday, because a lot of people don't go to church on Sunday, newsflash America, to get connected with God. You might get connected with God in a honky tonk listening to Cory Morrow. God is with me everywhere I go, at the supermarket, down at the beach a little bit later, which I will be. Thank you very much. Everywhere that I go, that God's with me. And it's in the smile that I share with people. It's in the words that maybe I write in my music, or that I share on this podcast. Cory, you've done that, and it's been part of your music. I know that sometimes people get pushback because that doesn't seem comfortable, but that is real. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about how that's played out for you over the last two decades of sharing your story, but also sharing God's.
So I accepted Christ when I was 14, but my story goes on, and I really didn't get fully saved or fully realize that I needed or wanted or was going to have a walk with him until about 2012. And so it's been the last 9 years almost of walking with him and learning who I am meant to be, who he intends for me to be, and what I'm capable of when I allow myself to be who he wants me to be. And that walk is constantly growing and evolving. But it's been such a better road to be on, or such a better walk to be on. And there's always a foundation and a platform I can fall on. And I know that I'm not falling off a cliff into an abyss of hopelessness, wondering where I'm going, wondering what's next, wondering if there's anything that can save me or anything that can make me happy or joyful. It's him, and I know he's there. And even when I get upset with him and think maybe he's not paying attention or he's not there, I still fall to my knees and say, would you just hold me? I don't think you're there, but would you hold me? It's doing it, having a walk in a relationship with Christ and in a public way was never really a second thought for me. I've always just been very open book, very transparent about where I am at in my life. And there were times in my life when I wanted to drink and I wanted to chase girls and I wanted to be this wild child, and I was very unapologetic about it, and that's the life that I lived in. I had lots of people praying for me that I didn't even know about, because they were concerned about my lifestyle, and rightfully so. It didn't end well. And now that I have found him and found a walk with him and realized what that relationship is and what it's supposed to be, now I walk with it at my shows, and I feel like the platform that I have, the stage, the microphone, every night is an opportunity for me to share my story. And so whether it's a 45-minute long share or 45-second long share, I just tell people that I found something. It's amazing. It's a love that you can't earn, and a love that doesn't go away no matter what you do. And it's the love of Jesus. And if you want to talk about it after the show, I'll be at the merch table. But just to let everybody know that they're loved. They're just so abundantly and amazingly, exceedingly loved. And
I think we have a hiccup there. In just a moment, we're going to get Cory back.
And Al's an interesting guy in and of itself.
Lee, can we check in with you in just a moment? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And now can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And now it's turned to what I need or want is to play the show, to connect with folks, and then go see them and talk with them and really connect with them one-on-one at the merch table after the show, to go stand over there and either they pray for me or I pray with them, and or they just tell me something and share with me something about what's going on and what has gone on, and hopes, fears, dreams, and we just we connect on a deeper level. And there's opportunity to say his name, to say the name of Jesus, and have that open up the room for the Holy Spirit to come in and really, start walking and moving.
And I love that, because it's not in the likely place that you would expect. And that's what we need in this time. We are disconnected. We are depressed. We are disenfranchised. And so we maybe need to hear that God can find us wherever we're at. And if that happens to be while you're having fun at a CORY MORROW concert, then fabulous. Man, I was so encouraged in the day after my birthday at your concert. I'm going to ask you one more question as we're here in 2021. 2020 is behind us. We do have a wake of a lot of negative things that are happening among us. If you were to write a song about 2020 and where we're going now, what do you think it would be about? I know you've kind of touched on this here and there, but what would it be about?
I think you said it best. He goes with us wherever we are. So no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, he's right there with us. We don't have to go to one place in order to find him. We just have to open our hearts up and say yes and take him in. But as far as 2020 goes, I would just say hiccup and let's move on. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I sometimes I don't want to give, fuel to something that isn't going to be, really, for his glory. And so if I was going to write something about 2020, I'd have a hard time not writing something negative, but for me, the positives have come out in the songs that I have written.
There you go.
In that time. And so I feel like the glory's for him that we were able to, in the midst of what the whole world would define as the missing year, or the year that shouldn't have been, or whatever you want to call it. We found an opportunity to find joy in our
There you
home.
go.
I found relationships with my kids and got to spend time with them that I never got to have before, and wrote songs about them, and got to really just celebrate family, so amazingly enough.
Well, CORY, I'm so grateful for your time. I'm really grateful for your music. I want to thank you for making time for us today. And man, we'll continue to be praying for you. You make a difference. God bless you, man. And hey, come on again sometime. And next time I'm at a concert, I'll wave you down. You can pretend like you know me.
I'll pretend to sing happy birthday.
Love it. Thanks, CORY. God bless you.
You too. Thank you. That's awesome.
I appreciate your time,
You're
man.
good at this. Thank you so much. Anytime that you want to have us on, I'd love it. I mean, I could bring the whole band on and we could do something, or the family, whatever you want to do.
I would love both of those. That would be great. I think
let's set it up.
Let's do it.
For more fun, go to mymichellelive.com.